So guys, Bitcoin just fell below 60,000, and this has everyone wondering if Bitcoin is going to start deviating to a lower point, also causing our altcoins to drive down, which makes people wonder if they should be selling right now or, be accumulating with what's going on. I want to talk about where we're at on this crypto cycle, if you should be selling some of your altcoins, what everyone is talking about, and, how to best position yourself to make maximum gains in this 2024-2025 crypto bull cycle. But before we jump into it, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I'm just a beginner in the crypto space, showing you guys my wins, my losses, my crypto portfolio, my perspective on the space, and everything else in between. But let's jump into it. So guys, like how I said, Bitcoin fell below 60,000, and we've been trading, above around like that 60 to 64, 65,000 mark. But we keep testing around that 66,000 mark, just because of that's where, resistance is currently sitting. But we fell below that 60,000 mark, and the fear in the market is getting really, really crazy. Everyone's talking about how Bitcoin could deviate to a lower point if we drop below the current support line that we're currently at, which is, around that 59,000 mark. But right now we're trading sideways on this key target, and this has everyone wondering if we're going to start deviating lower. We honestly won't know until we see the close on Bitcoin, as well as how everything is going to be looking closing towards the weekend. But overall right now, this has everyone wondering, should they be selling? Should they be cutting some off the top of their portfolio? Because if Bitcoin falls, it's going to be more than likely going to around 54,000, possibly even lower, which is going to have a drastic hit on our altcoins. Well, if we go look at the crypto markets right now, as you can see, everything is taking a slight hit. But if we go ahead and jump into my crypto portfolio and look at what is going on, everything is currently taking a hit. Now for the week, a few of my coins are crazy up, like Palm AI, which is an AI coin I jumped into this week, made some good gains off of it. If you listen to my last video talking about AI coins, you made some good gains on it. This is not financial advice by any means. I don't know what I'm doing, but overall you can make money with different opportunities in the markets. But currently right now, mostly everything is down with the exception of a few high performing projects, and this is whenever it creates a lot of opportunity for people that haven't exposed themselves to the crypto markets to start making money. And yes, that's you, Monharan. Overall guys, whenever you're looking at the crypto markets, you really need to be looking for opportunities, and whenever the markets are fearful, that's whenever you can make the most money. So let's go ahead and jump into a few crypto charts talking about previous cycles and where we're currently at right now based off of the price action. So first chart I want to jump into is from CryptoCon. Like how I said, I love this account. If you guys aren't following this account, go follow them. They give great updates on where we're at for the cycle, price action, and everything else in between. But let's go and talk about what he is saying. So it is no coincidence that this Bitcoin correction reached the exact same envelope strength levels as the bottom from the same high in September of 2016. So he's talking about over here the levels that we're currently seeing based off of the previous cycle in 2016 to what we're currently seeing now in 2024. The cycles are still undeniably linked when they alternate. Cycle 1 hit the same mid-cycle correction levels as cycle 3. He's talking currently over here on cycle 1. If you look at, because based off of these points and markers, the first early top correction completion, if we look over here for cycle 1, it is repeating almost the same thing as cycle 3, and that's what he's pretty much talking about, how certain cycles repeat themselves and almost replicate. So you're saying cycle 1 hit the same mid-cycle correction levels as cycle 3, and now our current cycle is copying the second. So as you can see from the cycle 2 that happened in around 2016, 2017, that is currently what's happening right now. He says, what does this mean for you? Being here now is like being there in 2016, right before the smooth crypto curve parabola. This cycle wants to trick us into thinking it's different, but the footprint it leaves behind are all the same. And guys, what he's talking about is this cycle that we're seeing right here in the setup. It is practically identical to what we're seeing in this cycle currently. And if you just look at those price points, I always seem to do this. If you look at those price points, guys, we are on the verge of a gradual rip up. Now, of course, we're having some price action trading sideways, but whenever you zoom out, you can't really see that sideways trade action. You should really just be exposing yourself to a few crypto coins. And if you're wanting to cut some off the top to maybe, give yourself some wiggle room and some money to play with if we deviate lower, then of course you can do that. But based off of the setup and where we're currently at, we're honestly on the verge of a huge bull run. And like how he said, if we compare it to the 2016 levels, that is practically where we are at. We might be trading sideways a little bit longer for a few months, and people have talked about how September is usually a red month for crypto. But we're still on the verge of a rip up, and if you're not noticing these things and not comparing it to previous cycles, you're probably really scared and you're liquidating your bags right now, which is the worst thing you could possibly do right before the huge rip up. But this is just, you know, a huge demonstration of what's going on based off of the envelope straight that we're seeing and the current price action based off of previous cycles. I'm honestly really committed based off of what I'm currently seeing, and I'm going to be studying a few of these, you know, charts a little bit more in depth so that I can dissect them a little bit more for you and, you know, break it down in a third grade level. But overall, that is a great chart from CryptoCon, just showing us where we're currently at, even if we start to deviate a little bit lower. Next chart I want to get into is from someone called Crypto Mike NL. He says a valid daily bullish divergence on Ethereum against Bitcoin. This time we've seen this, it marked the low in January 2021 and in September of 2019. If that cycle is repeating those patterns and we're at 2019, the party is on the horizon. And he's pretty much talking about how, you know, whenever we start to reach those points back into this chart, you know, it's the first early top correction completion and then the second early top correction completion. We're in that point of correction right now, and most people are getting shooken out because they are worried that we're going to be deviating to a crazy low point, and we could potentially be dropping down to that 54k point, like how I said earlier. But at the end of the day, based off of the current price action of what we're seeing, we're going to be shooting up within the next few months, possibly even sooner than that. We're going to be seeing the top for Bitcoin maybe in the mid 2025, maybe at the end of 2025. But overall, currently, we're on the verge of something ripping higher. So in terms of wanting to sell your bags, you know, it's all based off of what you feel and the current macro events you're keeping up with. At the end of the day, no one can really time when everything is going to drop specifically down and rip all the way up. The best thing you can do is expose yourself and maybe cut some off the top to make sure you're not fully all in and, you know, aren't getting fully hit by what's happening in the markets, especially if Bitcoin starts to drop down lower. But let's go and jump into the next chart. It's with Mags. Love Mags. Go ahead and follow that guy if you guys aren't aware of him. But he's talking about the altcoin market cap, our altcoins being affected by Bitcoin and everything. The altcoin market cap is forming a falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish continuation pattern. A breakout is going to trigger a nice upside rally. And if we look at what we're seeing currently right now, we're pretty much in this falling wedge. Usually whenever we're in a falling wedge, you know, we trade in that downward deviation for only a specific period of time before we have to break up and have that continuation to the upside. And currently, like how we talked about with previous cycles and previous charts, where we're currently at with that second early top correction completion, altcoins are going to see a huge rip up once Bitcoin starts to break out. And everyone's saying how Bitcoin hasn't really broke out of that 72,000 mark, which is one of the biggest reasons why we haven't seen altcoins and everything just have a huge rally up, and retail also hasn't jumped in. But once we start to see that, once we start to get that price action, we're going to start to see a lot of crazy upside in the markets, and everything is just different based off of, you know, corporations and, you know, sovereign nations taking place in crypto, as opposed to before, whenever just getting a little bit of companies and a little bit of the United States and other nations in crypto was a huge big deal. But now this is a whole different crypto cycle, so you have to really keep in mind all the different events that are taking place, the price action that's currently going on, and how it reflects from previous cycles. So overall, we could be seeing that upside for our altcoins, but, you know, we're going to be trading sideways and having a deviation to probably a lower point until we start to rip up. But guys, overall, what should you be doing with your altcoins, and what should you be doing with your crypto portfolio with Bitcoin? You know, right now Bitcoin is trading sideways, could be deviating to a lower point, especially if we drop below the key support levels that we currently have right now. I honestly am going to keep up with these specific charts and the price action around Bitcoin and keep you guys updated with what's going on. But the main reason why everything hasn't popped off is just because we haven't had retail come into play, and we also haven't had Bitcoin break a new all-time high. These are going to be huge events that are going to cause a lot of price action to move in the markets. But until we start to see that, as well as the Fed cuts and the US presidential election and the economy, being pushed up just to hype up everyone in the States, you know, we're going to start to see some crazy price action. But until we start to see that, we are going to have to keep up with the current price action and keep making bets on the crypto markets. Right now, guys, I'm honestly accumulating more. I'm not selling any of my positions. I might chop off some positions just a little bit, maybe 10 to 20%, just so that I can have a little bit of money on the sides just in case we do deviate lower. But if I do sell anything, I will tell you guys. Currently right now, I'm not selling anything until I see what is going to happen with Bitcoin, just because we can be ripping up like crazy. You honestly don't know when the markets and everything is going to start popping off until it does. And you don't want to be not exposed to the markets when everything explodes, just because people are going to start printing a ton of money. I'm going to leave you guys with one last post from Ionic XBT. Yes, Ionic XBT. I usually end my videos with what he talks about. Overall, he says, if the price drops, I'm not just buying, I'm waiting for key levels, then I'll buy more. If the price consolidates, I'm not rushing, I'm staying patient, and when the moment's right, I'll strike. Why? Because I know what's coming. The bull run, new all-time highs. This deep correction isn't a threat, it's an opportunity. Don't be the one who wishes they listened. Guys, right now is a time of opportunity. Right now is a time where you can make so much money. And when I talk to people about crypto, they look at me like I am a baby fussing about a bottle or something. They look at me like I make no sense. And it's funny because at the end of the day, the people that do the most research, understand this technology, and, you know, keep up with everything that's going on in the markets are going to be the most profitable. And the people that understand what's going on aren't worried with what's happening right now. Like me currently, I'm just documenting my journey, telling you guys, you know, what's happening, the sentiment in the markets, what we have seen from previous cycles, and then, you know, making my guesstimations on everything. I have made some good decisions and bad decisions in the crypto markets. I'm a beginner just documenting my journey. This is not financial advice by any means, but guys, right now you should be setting yourself up for success, and that means exposing yourself to the correct crypto projects and keeping in mind where we're at in this crypto cycle. We're going to be making some crazy profits in the next few months, and I hope you're exposed in the markets. At the end of the day, if you want to be a little bit safe, just because we might deviate a little lower, you can cut some off the top of your portfolio. I wouldn't recommend cutting more than 20% of your portfolio, just because we could be ripping up to the higher side in a matter of days, weeks, months. We honestly do not know. But it's better to set yourself up for success than to wish you had set yourself up for success and everything's just passing you by. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up right here, guys. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I'm just a beginner in the crypto space, showing you guys my wins, my losses, my crypto portfolio, dissecting the perspectives in the crypto markets, and then giving you quick, concise videos like this one right here. If you guys are new to the channel, drop me a comment, drop me a like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of my content, my perspective on the space, as well as any coins or anything else that you guys have in mind. Suggestions, video suggestions, anything. But guys, I drop daily content every day, so stay tuned for the next one, and hopefully I see you guys tomorrow. Peace.